Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this setup. We're not sure exactly what it is yet, but we'll find out as time goes on. I am Victor Temken, stage name MVA, and by my time it's 10:45 p.m. and I'm at Boris's house. Boris called me over for something we're working on or we've been looking at and we intend to work on. So he called me over to his place, and I'm not very sure exactly the whole big picture of what it is, but I think Boris will enlighten us a bit. So, as I said, I'm Atamkang Victor, and I'm at Boris's place. It's actually pretty cold outside now, and it's quite a number of miles I've taken to get here, and I really want to know, and the viewers want to know why I would have to come all this distance to see Boris.
Hi, Victor. Thank you for first of all honoring this invitation for you taking this time to come over this late to my place for us to get down into business and start working up on things and seeing how this is about to go. And I must appreciate you for doing that. And once more, thank you though. So initially, I invited Victor over here so we could work on a mega project. But before I discuss this mega project, I'd like to introduce myself and to my televiewers and to our listeners out there. I go by the name Boris, but I go by the stage name Majority, and you all got here today at a debut of a podcast we're about to start. And this is our first session, and on this first session, we shall be introducing our content, our main topics, and our focus points. And as time goes on, you all be seeing other personalities coming to the show. And yeah, so technically, I have Mr. Victor over here today for us to begin this mega project of this wonderful podcast. I know you will be wondering what this podcast name is and what it's all about, but as time goes on, we'll have to unveil the name and tell you more about what this podcast is about. So, technically, Mr. Victor, this is a podcast and it's live. Thank you once more for coming back.
Okay, you heard it right. This is a podcast. We are in the setting of a podcast, and that beans has been spilled already, or the coffee has been spilled, and we're going to be spilling more as we go on. Um, he just told us this is a podcast and it's a mega project. A mega project, I mean, in a small setting like this, someone would think, what's mega about it? But trust me, every project starts small and it blossoms into something you never would have even imagined. So I'm seated here for a podcast, and Boris reached out to me. I'm a creative, a spoken word artist at my leisure time. It's what I do as a hobby, and I do other things. I do other creative writing. I do other posts and stuff like that. And Boris reached out to me and said, "Bro, you have quite a mastery of content creation. You have great content out there, and I think you are a bit in the shadow. Come out to the light, expose yourself more. There's something we can actually work on, and it's going to it's going to open you up to the world. It's going to not just open you up to the world, but it's going to help you in preaching, in activism, in artivism, as some of my friends now call it, using the form of art to preach. So he brought up the idea, and my first reaction was like, nah, I don't think I'm good on cameras or I'm good on stage that much to get myself into a podcast. And I would like to note that this is the first time we are getting engaged into something like this, a podcast. I've never been to a podcast before, and I started listening to podcasts that was just a few months ago. That's when I listened to the first podcast,
Okay.
and I think that was the name of the podcast is Indubitably, and it's quite an interesting podcast. It's quite an interactive podcast, and I was like, well, I'm now listening to podcasts, and I find it very interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Why not jump in and try doing
See
something
what.
to? It could work out. It couldn't, but it will be if we try it and it doesn't work out. It will be that we
We
tried
tried. Yeah.
and it didn't work out. So I gave it a thought and I came back to Boris and said, okay, this could be quite a nice idea. Let's try it out. Let's do this. And we were supposed to start this podcast late last year. A lot of things held us back, and we thought it wise that no, we should avoid procrastinating and get down to business. That's why we are here today, because we think that as time goes on, we are going to iron out whatever things we need to iron out. Because as of now, the setting is not the best. We intend to do a whole lot, but if we are waiting to complete everything we need to get done before we start up, then it's going to take us quite a while. So, Boris gave me the name of the podcast, and it was quite interesting, the whole story and how he developed the name. So, currently, he runs a blog. He runs a blog called The Majority Blog, and it's quite a popular blog in the country. And for some time, he took a step back from the blog because he had a lot of things to focus on,
Yeah.
and he wants to re-engage into the blog and take it to a higher height, to make it bigger, to give out a lot of content. So he runs the blog Majority Blog. I'll ask you to check it out on Facebook and on Instagram
YouTube.
and on YouTube as well. So it was from this whole idea. He has that platform already. He's like, okay, I already have this platform. What can we do with this platform? So that's how he came about with, okay, let's do a podcast. And the name of the podcast, are we saying it together or we?
I mean, it would be nice for us to say it together.
Okay, let's go on a countdown also.
Okay.
Let's go. 3,
So
2, 1, 0.
Majority
Blog
blog.
Podcast. Okay, so we are on the Majority Blog Podcast, and when he brought up the idea of the Majority Blog Podcast to me and explained to me how he came about the name, it was quite intriguing, and I thought it wise to come up with an introduction to or an introductory message to this podcast, and I also thought it wise to come up with an introductory jingle, and this jingle we're going to use on the start or at the start of every podcast, and
Every episode.
yeah, on every episode, and during intermediaries, during transition periods, during breaks. So you'll give us 30 seconds to get you the jingle.
This is the Majority Blog Podcast.
We say it like it should be said. We set fire to the rain. It is us against the world. We're the majority.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the jingle to our podcast, the podcast we're starting, the Majority Blog Podcast. So when he came up with the idea, Majority Blog, and he explained it to me, I understood it in my own way. So I came up with an introductory piece, and I'll read it out to you, and you guys will tell me what you think about it. Okay, this is how it goes. It is often said majority is based on the popularity. In a world where popularity is sought by any and every means, we at Majority Blog believe that one who speaks truth and fact is indeed the majority. We refuse to be swayed by the large number of people whose rhetoric seeks to plunge us into a chaotic world with no morals. It is therefore our take that the few people who stand with us against millions of others are the majority. So that was what I came up with, trying to explain or trying to introduce what the majority block
What you said about it, yeah.
is all about. Boris would definitely have something to say about that.
I mean, technically you already said it, like everything, and you give us and viewers out there a very brief description, a very brief bio about Majority Block podcast, and there isn't much to say, but I believe there is just more to put in to action, and for us to keep on like putting in work, putting in time to make sure we give our viewers regular content, and not just content, but educational contents, contents that are meant to help people out there. Like I always tell you, I believe like we have these potentials to help each other in growing in life. You might be doing something right now and you think like it's not worth it, but there's someone out there who really, really needed what you doing right now, like for them to survive and stuff like that. So I always like put credits to like every little thing I do. I believe like it's helping someone out there. You might not know the person, but I just believe like with what you're doing, it's helping someone. So technically, like you already said it, it's like you said, majority goes by the definition like it's popularity and everything, fame, and it comes with everything. So like I always aim high, because when you aim high, you always work towards that, like achieving great things and stuff like
Right.
that. So
It's often said you aim high, and then like when you're throwing a stone, you aim high, and then if you do not hit that point, at least you hit close to
close
that
to
point.
that point. So technically, I know we're gonna hit that point, and we're gonna hit like bigger than that point. So that's why I always call this blog and this podcast like it's gonna be a mega podcast. It's a mega project, and it's gonna be a mega podcast. So technically, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting, people. You heard it. It's going to be a mega project, and we hope we're going to ride with you in this boat right up to the end. If there's at all going to be an end, and we just hope for it to be a very interesting interaction, a very educative, a very inspiring project for all the viewers out there or all the listeners out there, whatever platform you might be using to get
This
this
message.
message and this content. So we have spilled the beans. We have told you why we're here and what we are starting, and what I did. We all understand that there is a revolution right now. It's called the AI revolution.
Yeah, the AI revolution.
The AI revolution is, I would say, AI is taking over or has already taken
Taking
over.
millions of jobs.
It's taking millions of jobs. If I must be true with you.
Yeah, it is.
And the AI revolution is that which I don't know if we should fear it or we should embrace it with open arms. But personally, I am already getting engaged with AI, and there are certain AI tools I'm already using, and it's quite interesting how it works and how intelligent AI is. It's called artificial intelligence, but it's quite interesting how intelligent it is. So what I did is I used a prompt to ask my AI to give me an introduction message to the Majority Blog podcast. The first AI tool I used was on CapCut. CapCut, using an AI tool on CapCut, it gave me this introductory piece. Listen to this. Welcome to the Majority Blog podcast. In this podcast, we dive into the world of majority opinions, stories, and experiences that often go unheard. Our mission is to amplify the voices of the majority and create a platform where diverse perspectives are celebrated. Join us every week as we explore topics such as public opinion, voting trends, majority rule, and more. On this episode of the Majority Blog podcast, we are thrilled to introduce to you our guest host. Look, it's already talking about the guest host, and the guest host it brings up here is Sarah. I wonder who Sarah is. Bro, do you have any Sarah in your life?
I'll tell you that later.
You heard it. He's hiding something.
No,
We are going to, we are going to dig.
I'm just being
dig right
honest.
into
Like, I mean, I have a lot of servers, so it all depends on which server AI is trying to tell me right now. But yeah,
Whoa. We probably should do a separate episode on finding Sarah. Like you know the series or the movie Finding Nemo, Finding Dory. We should do a podcast Finding
finding
Sarah,
Sarah.
and we're going to dig deep into what he has to tell us.
I'll be right here to let you all
Okay,
know.
so it tells us quite a lot about Sarah. I don't know where the AI got Sarah from, but it tells us a lot about her. So that was an interesting introduction the AI tool had to give us.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. It really gives us what we will be putting out there.
Out there, yeah.
It says we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about topics such as public opinions, voting trends, majority rule, and more. So it's quite interesting. So I didn't only use that. I also used ChatGPT. ChatGPT right now is the leading
Trend
trend
of AI.
of AI. So you should definitely get engaged
I
and
mean,
start using these tools
yeah,
because
because ChatGPT, like you said, it cut across every aspect of life.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what work you are like. You know, I always feel like some people keep on limiting themselves to just their daily activities. Like mostly people will always do like technical works like maybe they do furnitures, they do tailoring and stuff like that. Like people would just do like cooking and stuff like that. If you go to ChatGPT and just like type a random question like how can I make my work perfect? How can I make my work stand out unique? It's gonna give you characteristics, it's gonna give you proposals where if you like put them into practice, bro, you're gonna have like one of the best ever. I don't know ever. I for one like if you ask me on my own personal opinion, I kind of feel like the AI intelligence is trying to be like wipe out the human race
yeah.
and rule the world. Like personally in China, AI intelligence haven't developed like humans and they walk the streets, they go shopping and everything.
Whoa.
They do like go to restaurants, go on dates. Like you could be dating an AI intelligent, you don't even know you're dating one. Like they act just like human. They do have like flesh like us. But I mean, what is being controlled in your brain now is just a little chip they just insert from the manufacturer and
Yeah.
he just put it out there. Like it knows when it has to go back home to go get itself charged up so it doesn't die down in the streets and stuff like that. But it acts exactly like humans. Like I watched the documentary, bro. I was so flabbergasted. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't know, like
So it begs the question: is this the apocalypse? Is this the end?
bro, I mean, if you wanna take it scripturally right now and you start reading the book of Revelation, bro, I kinda feel like we live in the end times.
Yeah.
And with everything that's happening, coming to AI, being like people are already getting married to AIs, like wives and husbands, so they don't have to go through the stress of being maybe emotionally broken and stuff like that, or suffering from things like being cheated upon and stuff like that in relationships. So they just go by, okay, I'm gonna get married to an AI. You're not scared of having any illnesses. It's 100% safe. You're not scared of illnesses, heartbreaks, emotions, physical damages, or whatnot ever. Like you just live your life, bro. You go on dates, you go to the shopping malls, you go shop, come back home. It cooks for you, bro. Like it has the mindset. It measures everything. Like it does it's perfect. It cleans, it mops, it fixes the bed, makes everything looks superb. Like tell me why should I go get married to someone else? I should probably go to China. I mean, I don't need to go to China right now. I can sit right here and just order for one, and it ship it straight to me
Yeah.
with a manufacturer like maybe a template or a notebook for me to like read through a manual to get myself acquainted with and set that shit up. And you know, now I probably think the only thing that's not gonna happen is like they're not gonna have kids. And there's some people out there that don't even need kids. I don't want to call names,
Yeah.
but we know people who don't need kids. So I'll be like, I mean, if I don't need kids and I have to get married to someone, I'll spend just little like $2,000 to get that intelligence. So why not go for it?
So it makes me want to question where we're headed as a people as a people who came into the world, and one of our goals or one of a mission on earth is to procreate. If I'm getting it right, but AI is kind of stealing that away from us. So it makes me want to fear the introduction of AI and this advanced technology. Like it's so advanced, while using it, I'm still scared. Like where does this end? Because it's just starting and it is this big and it is this complex. What will it be in 5 years' time?
Uh-huh.
Is it taking over the human race?
I mean,
So these are the questions which makes me ponder, or I ponder upon, and I'm like, okay, we should take this with a pinch of salt. We shouldn't just embrace it with arms open. On my own personal thought, but then, as I told you, I'm already using some of the AI tools, and they are amazing. Uh, but I think we should do a podcast on AI. We should look at the downsides. We should look at the good sides, and we should get a few people who are.
I mean,
uh,
AI experts and
AI
stuff like
experts
that,
as well.
like friendly users to AI tools and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you already using AI. I did use that a couple of times, but I found it feel like with AI intelligence and stuff like that, it makes you psychologically lazy.
yeah,
It doesn't make you think like you just be like, oh, I could just ask AI to do that shit for me, and
Exactly.
it does that. What just
Exactly.
exactly what you wanted.
exactly.
And so, it's like I feel like it's a brain damage to humans. Like right now, people being in school, they have like homeworks and stuff like that. They don't even try to think. They just type out a question to ChatGPT or whatsoever, ask AI questions, and it just gives them the answer.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, it gives like the steps to get the answer, but no one reads the steps. They just go straight and just get it answered, and you
Yeah.
get a score, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
And that is one of my problems. I'm a creative. I'll take out some time, quality time, to think,
That's it.
to get into that creative state,
Spirit.
and then write down something. It will take me, say, a day to write down a
Maybe.
piece of a stanza sometimes,
You know.
just to get it perfect. And then I have someone
Out
next
there.
door who just goes to AI, ChatGPT, and the text, and does the perfect quote, like build me this poem, or this article, and then in less than 30 seconds, this is literally me saying that what I type on ChatGPT gave me the result in less than 30 seconds. In less than 30 seconds, you have an amazing write-up, spot on,
No fouls.
no fouls.
Perfect.
It doesn't need editing. So I'm like, it takes me, it degrades me as a creative, because if someone can do that on his or her own phone, and then bring it to a competition and present it as, okay, this is my work,
This is my way.
this is my work. You have no way of proving that, okay, this person is taking this from ChatGPT
Somewhere else.
So it takes us to that position where maybe we will not value creativity
Anymore. That's it. And a lot of people be losing their jobs because why would I want to pay you to write me an article, or why would I want to pay you to write me a poem when I know I could just go to Play Store, get a ChatGPT for free, and just ask ChatGPT write a poem for my girlfriend, and he does that like ASAP. It didn't cost me a penny. It's literally free. So why would I want to pay someone for that person to do that for me? So it brings us back to the point like it's taking our jobs. It's strongly. I feel like it's bad on the human race. Some people might find it feel like, oh, it's cool. I mean, whoever created ChatGPT, he's smart. But again, his smartness is causing a lot of trouble out there. To be honest with you, bro, I wouldn't lie to you when it comes to that. Like, I don't feel like I'm a fan of this AI shit for real. Like,
And it takes us to what I said earlier. It is a revolution, and one thing with the revolution is there's always resistance at the start of every revolution.
I mean, that's right.
I mean, go back to the various revolutions which have passed. You see that there's always been resistance, and then at some point the world has no choice but to embrace it.
Embrace it. It was,
And I don't know.
it's
But then
something
this is what Chat GPT gave to us as an introductory message for the Majority Blog podcast. Welcome to the Majority Blog podcast, where we dive deep into the issues that matter to the majority of us. In a world where so many voices vie for attention, this podcast aims to provide a platform for real, relatable conversations about the topics that affect the majority of people. Each week, we'll bring you insightful discussions on politics, society, culture, and more, all from the perspective of the majority. Our guests will include experts, thought leaders, and everyday individuals with unique experiences and perspectives. We believe that the majority of people have valuable insights and stories to share, and it's time to amplify those voices. Whether we are tackling current events, exploring historical events through a modern lens, or dissecting pop culture phenomena, the Majority Blog podcast is where the majority can come to be heard. Join us as we strive to create a space for honest, thought-provoking conversations that resonate with the experiences and the concerns of the majority. Let's explore the ideas and issues that impact our lives and our world. As we work towards a better understanding of the collective experiences that shape our society, so if you are ready to engage in conversations that matter, to hear diverse perspectives on crucial topics, and to be part of a community that represents the majority, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the Majority Blog Podcast, your new destination for meaningful dialogue and collective understanding. I mean, take a look at that.
it's excellent. Like,
It is spot on. Like, no editing is needed, and then it gives us a perfect introduction to this podcast. I wouldn't have written it this perfect. I don't know anybody who would have written it this perfect. So, should we abandon creativity and
focus on AI,
focus on AI?
ChatGPT.
And focus on AI? That's the $1,000,000 question. But I think it's a tool we should embrace, because at one point, if we don't embrace it, we'll be left behind. So we'll have no option than to embrace it.
I mean,
I think so. But that was a spot on introduction from ChatGPT. Kudos to whoever created this, and it's an amazing introduction. So it has literally explained to you what the Majority Blog podcast is, and what we intend to do at the Majority Blog podcast. And like it said, we'll be tackling discussions on issues which resonate with a whole lot of the people, the majority of the people. But from his take, or from his view of the majority, that I came to understand was, it's not actually the millions of people, but it's about the few people who stay true, who stay factual, and who want to be heard. These people are called the majority by our own take. So if you out there listening to us find yourself in that situation where you have 10 other people telling you the wrong thing, and you are brave enough to stand up and say the right thing, we believe that you are not the 10 people are the majority. You are the majority. That's what the Majority Blog podcast is all about. And we are going to be touching various topics, as has been said on this podcast, from societal issues, from religious issues, political issues, relationships. We're going to touch literally everything. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be entertainment back to back. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be hot on some weeks, because we are going to be debating. And
You know, like during when you were reading the intro, there was this point that captured my mind. Like it said, it's gonna be provocative debate. I was like, wow, it already shows you like,
yeah,
bro, it's gonna be hard on set.
it's going to be hot on set.
Like sometimes we need to call security to make sure ain't nobody
Exactly.
giving punches and stuff
Exactly.
like that. Like we hope you good, bro. Like
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be something else.
It's going to be that hot on some of the days we're going to be on this podcast. So we're enjoying you to stay true and catch up with us every week because we're going to be releasing episodes on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And on very interesting topics. Trust me. So we're not very sure about what the topic of the next podcast is, but we're going to make it clear on the page. So follow us at Majority Blog on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
Twitter,
Twitter.
Snapchat,
Yeah.
TikTok, Princess, LinkedIn, every social
Social
media
media
platform you could think of. We have the links, we have the channels, and we'll just drop all our links on our bio, so you could just click on any platform you find yourself on, and you see like our contents from previous, our contents from present, our contents from like sometimes we give you trailers of our future. You know,
Exactly.
it's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
For real, bro. It's
Yeah.
gonna be big, super big for real. Like
So I'm quite interested in what we are starting off, and what this tells me is that we are in for something we have to invest in.
obviously.
Now, when I talk about investing, I'm talking in every dimension. I'm talking financially, I'm talking materially, I'm talking time. Now, time here is one of the biggest treasures we have, and to be able to squeeze out time to make content. So it means that we are not just here for the 1 or 2 hours we are going to be discussing. That's not just the time we are sparing out to give you this content. It means we have to go back, do a lot of research, so that what we are bringing to you is the truth, is the fact, and is based on a lot of research. And we are not just here like ignorant people, just trying to lead like a blind man leading people.
Yeah.
You get it? We want to be the person who has eyes and rather leading blind
Blind
people,
folks.
not rather being blind people trying to lead people who have eyes.
You know.
So it means that it's a huge task on us to dedicate a lot of time into research, into getting views, and into creating this content, into bringing all this, harmonizing this, and then serving it out. Like it means we are cooking something. I mean, we're not in the kitchen, but
Technically, yeah, but
yeah, in the literal sense,
yeah.
we are cooking something, and then when it's ready, we serve it to you, and we hope that you
Like
you
it.
dine, you enjoy it, and you come for more. We want you to be hungry, so that you always come for more.
I believe you said it all. So
Yeah.
that's it.
So I think I just came up with a line, which we could use to end our podcast. Remain truthful and remain hungry, because we're coming with more.
Perfect.